Microgreens.com to do another exciting episode for you. I'm just actually almost ready to get on my flight back to Las Vegas, but I have to be like another 2 hours here. So I thought I'd film another farm for you guys. This is a guy that I met actually at the farmer's market here in Monument, I believe. And there was like 3 microgreens growers at one farmer's market, which is really cool to me because like in California, sometimes they restrict, like you can only have one microgreens farmer at the farmer's market or something like that. But here there's like competition is good. And I definitely think that, you know, more microgreens farmers are necessary and we need to make the pie bigger. Not, as a microgreens farmer, you don't need to get a bigger piece of the pie. You need to make the pie bigger, educate people about microgreens, and then also be different and differentiate yourself about growing microgreens. And here's the cool thing, right? This microgreens farmer doesn't have like a big farm. He doesn't have acreage. He lives in a freaking apartment, right? That he may be trying to get out of pretty soon because he's expanding and he needs to move into a house now. So, you know, literally he just grows in a bedroom and has a farm out of his bedroom. So in this episode, I'm going to show you guys actually how you grow microgreens in a bedroom. Even if you don't have land or property, you can start a farm and start selling at the farmer's market, sell to restaurants, and we're going to learn his specific tips and techniques on how he's selling that I think is really smart and more people should duplicate. So now I'm going to head into the farm, which is actually just his apartment, and show you guys around. Now, keep in mind, right? This guy started his farming business literally only 6 months ago. That's like this season. He literally started this season growing and selling, and now he's already expanded so much that he's looking to even move into a bigger space to even grow more because he's pretty much almost not quite maxing out his current grow space. So let's go inside the apartment and show you guys his basically a bedroom converted into a grow room. Let's go ahead and take you guys into the bedroom where he's actually growing the microgreens. And this is his setup. This is a converted bedroom. You know, they live in the master, and then they have this converted bedroom which has the plastic on the floor so he doesn't damage the carpet and then get his security deposit taken. He also has put up plastic on the walls just with thumbtacks so you can, you know, they could patch the holes up and they would never know that they were there. And he's just growing the microgreens on a rack that he bought from Amazon, and lights are from Amazon. And over on these microgreens here, I mean, it might cost him $3 to grow, you know, in material costs, which is like the seeds and the soil basically, and then also the container he puts them in. Might cost him around $3 to $4, depending on the seed and what it is, to grow a whole 10 by 20 flat of microgreens. And guess how much he sells it for? Cost him $3 to $4, and this flat right here, the peas, or the sunflower greens that are right next door, basically he'll make $40. So he's basically making 10 times on his money right there by growing these sprouts. Now, of course, these sprouts weigh more, and he sells by the ounce. He sells 1.2 ounces for $5. But if you're, and these guys are heavy, and if he's growing these guys, which are like a salad mix, spicy salad mix, or also he grows kohlrabi and radish sprouts as well as broccoli, these guys, he'll basically make about $20 approximately per flat. But that's still like, you know, good money for sure. Like 5 times your money right there. So let's go ahead and explain how he has created a business literally in 6 months out of a bedroom in his apartment that he rents. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Like if you guys are looking for a business to make money, literally that you just lost your job, literally, you know, he's doing an amazing job just in 6 months. Microgreens, to grow microgreens, it takes a very minimal investment. Maybe you got to buy some shelves. Maybe you could find some on Craigslist. Maybe you could grow it on tables if you don't have shelves. You will need to invest in, like, you know, some soil, which is really inexpensive. It costs about 85 cents to $1 to fill enough soil to grow in the flats. So you got to buy these little cheap plastic flats. It could be like $1 or $2 each for the really cheap ones. He's going to be upgrading soon to the Bootstrap Farmer plastic trays. These are nested. So the top one has holes, and the bottom one does not have holes. He bottom waters, as I will show you guys. And I mean, it's just super simple. And basically, I mean, it's very minimal labor. You have to pay attention to these guys. You have to water them once they're in their state like this every day. But other than that, you just set it up and you get your seeds started like I'll be showing you. And time does all. The seeds germinate. The seeds are pre-programmed. Then you know what to do, right? So you get the right soil, you get the seeds on there, you water them, you wait 3 days, you put Lily's using a concrete block on the top to weigh them down. They grow, once they're out of this, they'll be out of this stage tomorrow. After 3 days, they'll go underneath the lights, and then they'll start to green up, and they'll grow So he started these on Thursday, and by basically this weekend, by Saturday, these guys that are here that aren't even, green yet, right, will be done. And he'll basically be making, once again, $20 to $40 per tray, the way he does it, right? And, that's a cool story unto itself. But he's really smart about business, unlike other microgreens growers that might just show up at farmers markets. Some microgreen growers try to sell through restaurants, wholesale, which is good because you can get regular business, but now you're getting wholesale prices. But it's constant and regular, right? The thing I like about selling to restaurants is that it's constant and regular, not that you're selling it for wholesale prices. So what he's doing is he's going on a subscription-based model, like maybe call it a CSA for microgreens, whatever you want to call it. So, basically at the farmer's market, he's selling it by little container, and that's great. But the reason why he's really at the farmer's market is to not sell it by container, because he doesn't really make money on that. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to basically find people that'll take his subscription service, because that's even more valuable. Think about it. If somebody comes to the farmer's market and gives you $5 for one little container of microgreens, that's great. You just made $5, 10 times your money if they bought some of these guys up here. And that's really cool. That's good money, and it's also cash. But if you sign up them for your subscription service, now they're basically going to take weekly or bi-weekly or monthly deliveries from you. And now, every week, you might be selling them $20 worth of stuff. $20 a week times 4 or 5 weeks in a month. What's that? That's like $100. So now you're making $100 from that one customer you found. So, in business, this is called lifetime value of a customer. What's your lifetime value? Like if he just comes to your farmer's market once, he buys the stuff once, he tries it, he doesn't like it, he never buys it again. So the lifetime value of your customer is $5. But if you get somebody on the subscription service, you treat them right, you provide them a good product, and they just, they stay on for 1 month, hey, that's $100. They stay on for 2 months, that's $200. They stay on for a year, you just made like over $1,000, $1,200 from one guy that you got because you're selling on a subscription basis. And now because they're on a subscription, they put in their order so you know what to grow, so you don't have wastage, so you're not going to lose product, right? Here, the cool thing about this is that this is all, some of this is spare product from the farmer's market, and that doesn't get wasted here either, because now the family here gets to improve their health because they eat all the extras, and now the farmer will just be in here chomping. I mean, you can see where he's just cut off a little bit, and he's eating while he's growing, and hey, that could get you even healthier than you are. And actually, the farmer here got on eating healthy foods, eating microgreens. He lost a ton of weight. It's just so amazing that how microgreens can change people's lives, not only allow you to create financial income, but also allow you to get healthier, but also more importantly, help your community get healthier as well. I mean, this is win-win-win, and I believe that there should be more microgreens farms in every city. I mean, it's still sad. Some farmers markets I go to in certain places, there won't be a microgreens guy there. In many farmers markets I go, in many places there are, and in many cases they know me. But many places there's still no microgreens farmers. And I believe there should be at least one microgreens farmer, if not more, if that local economy can handle it. So this gives you guys lots of opportunity to literally grow a business, have a business out of your bedroom. And maybe even you could do it part-time, even if you're still working, right? You could take care of your microgreens when you come home every day from work. Go out and have your wife or your girlfriend, and sell stuff at the markets when you're off, because you have a Monday through Friday job, right? Super simple, super easy. I'm always here to encourage you guys to grow your own food, number one. Number two, I want you guys to be your own boss. I've been my own boss for over 20 years now, and it wasn't always good in the beginning, right? But now I got my business model stable and dialed in, and I have systems in place and processes in place that reduce the amount of time that I need to spend working my business so I could actually have more fun. And also want to encourage you guys that life is not all about just making money, right? I think we should be doing something valuable in our lives, something that could help enrich others, and that's one of the reasons why I make the YouTube videos. And this is, for me, this is fun. I'd rather go and come to a cool microgreens farm, share with you guys, instead of watch Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, or actually it's Monday night tonight, so Monday Night Football is on. All right, so anyways, let's go ahead and go through the growing process to show you guys how easy it is to grow microgreens. So growing microgreens does not have to take a lot of space. I mean, literally, he has pretty much everything he needs in this. I mean, this bedroom is not even that big, maybe like 12 by 12, if that, maybe a little bit bigger, 12 by 14 or something like that. He has everything stored in here, and even the closet, he has lots of storage. You could expand and put shelves in there and grow in there. It's just empty right now. He basically has everything on the racks that you guys saw, and then he has this table, which is actually covered, which is really nice, and he actually has all the storage for his product and things he needs right underneath the table. So let me show you guys what he's got and the materials you'll need to grow microgreens. So one of the things I like to do is I like to lift up skirts on tables, that is. All right, so underneath this table here, we can see we got a whole bunch of different things. All right, number one, we got these concrete blocks. Whoa, these guys are heavy. And this is actually the weight he uses on top of his 10 by 20 trays to basically put pressure on them so they grow better. If you don't put weight on top of your trays, the seeds may not establish or properly grow, so I definitely recommend it. These seem to be a little bit of an overkill, but they'll work nonetheless, and you'll get a workout at the same time, which is pretty cool. Of course, also, in addition, he has his soil. So he has the soil here in a nice little tote every, I think, Tuesday or something. He'll basically, fill this up with soil, and he uses the Black Magic Organic, seeding mix for growing seedlings. So this is more of a sterile mix, which is really good. I like that it has perlite as well as other things. I mean, I know some farmers that grow micros will use like 100% coconut coir, but coconut coir, quality can vary widely. So I like better a product like this, right? It's also sterile, so that means he's not going to be introducing any kind of potential pathogens or fungus gnats or anything else in the soil, because he has a sterile environment. I see no bugs in here. He doesn't have any bug strips or anything. So that is really cool also. And so you want to make sure you never bring them in so they're not here, because once you have an outbreak, then you're playing catch up on how to control them. He also has his seeds stored underneath here. So basically give a shout out to the True Leaf Market, established 1974. That's where he basically buys the majority, or if not all, of his seeds. And mbseed.com, I did make a video there. I'll post a link down to that below. And this is like the radish China rose. Organic, he has all the broccoli seeds, the kohlrabi, the black oil sunflower, spicy salad mix. And I would encourage you guys to get seeds that are, designed to grow for microgreens or for sprouting when you are growing microgreens. Any seeds might work. You can get some off Amazon, off wherever. But here's a challenge, right? If you get bad seeds, that's going to ruin your crop, and that's going to mean you're going to, disappoint your customers, and you're going to lose money. So get the proper seeds. Don't try I can save $2 on the seeds by going on Amazon and get it from some weird funky seller that's from China or something. Don't do it. Get some seeds. Most people that grow microgreens are getting them from True Leaf, from the farms that I visited, right? Let's see underneath here also. All right, yeah, so he's got his containers. So he packages up his product in these containers from actually Web Restaurant or Webstrant store. So, and these are just the little containers he uses, right? He used to fill these containers with 1.5 ounces. Actually, these are the lids. Where are the containers? Here's the containers. So here's the containers, and here's the lids. They'll basically used to put in 1.5 ounces of the microgreens and then sell these guys full. And he found that people were complaining that they got too much. So I guess the 0.3 was too much. I would eat it all, I don't care. So then he reduced to 1.2. It still filled up the container. People were happy, and now his product goes a little bit further. And so one of these guys he'll sell for $5, or he'll do a package deal, which I really like a lot, 5 for $20. And we'll show you guys what they look like at the end of this video, all right? Let's see, so underneath here, he also has his biodegradable bags. So I encourage you guys to use paper bags, which he also does use, because when I saw him at the market, he gave me some microgreens in paper bags, and he also has the reusable, recyclable, and biodegradable, right? And I want to let you guys know that just because it's reusable, recyclable, and biodegradable, it does not mean it's compostable. So I encourage you guys to look for compostable bags, because they're the next level after reusable, recyclable, and biodegradable, all right? And I think that's pretty much all that he has. That's all his inventory he has. He just buys these as he runs out, as he needs them. He buys seeds when he runs out. He gets more soil as he runs out. All his spent soil is given to the compost guy, so then that gets turned into soil, for organic farmers and gardeners. And that's amazing. So, these are all the things you need to buy. It not going to account to a lot of money. I would think definitely for under $1,000 you could get started. Let's talk about some of the hard goods, like the lights and the racks that he's using next. All right, other things you'll need to start a business besides just all the materials you'll be using to grow the microgreens is you might need to get a rack. He chose to get these racks on Amazon. I think they're $125 or something like that. And they're pretty cool. I've never seen this kind before. People usually opt for the NSF, basically stainless steel racks or chrome plated racks. I mean, usually you find those at Costco for, I don't know, about 90 bucks or something. Maybe you could get them online for cheaper. He's using 4 shelves on here, but he could grow on a 5th shelf, so I did make that recommendation for him. You need to get a light up there so you could hang lights from the ceiling, or you could maybe use some EMT conduit and tie it onto the corners to make them go a little bit higher. In addition, he's using these lights. Now these lights are not rocket science. Like, these are just standard like shop lights, right? With the right color spectrum, so that's very important. They're the 5000K color spectrum. He bought these on Amazon from one of the sellers on there. Let me see if the name's on here. It says Max Light model SL-48421-50, made in China. I kind of like these lights because, I mean, he just has 1 per rack, which basically has 2 tubes in it. And you could link 4 of them together. So he basically plugs in 1, and then he's linked all the rest of them together, nice and clean. And it's working excellent to grow some really nice microgreens. And then, of course, he has to buy the trays. The trays are about $1.50 each, and he basically just reuses them every time. I mean, that's pretty much it. So I guess next I want to get into actually how he grows the microgreens specifically. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to grow microgreens. This is totally not rocket science. Microgreens are one of the easiest things you guys could possibly grow. So, first you're going to have that tray in here. You're going to fill it up with that, seed starting mix right here. This is the black gold. And then you wet it down just a little bit. You don't want it sopping wet. You want it just moist to the touch, so that if you were to wring it out, it wouldn't really wring out any. So you don't have excess moisture in there. Then you're going to go ahead and weigh out your seeds. And so basically we have 1 ounce of the radish seeds, and then we just basically have this in this little measuring cup. And then you'll just go over and carefully doll these out, and as you do it, you'll get better. So you're just going to go out and you're going to want to try to basically get an even distribution on the seeds, so that you don't have them all clumped in one corner, so that they're basically equidistant, spaced apart in the tray. And I'm sure, because he has a lot more practice than I do spreading microgreen seeds, he'll be able to do it more efficiently than me. But I'm going to do my best job here to try to make a decent plot of micros. And here's the thing, right? Sometimes when you first start, you may not be getting the best, thickest, growths, and it may look a little bit shoddy, and there may be more in one corner than the other. But that's all right. Learn and do it better the next time. And that's how we learn anything. I mean, you guys all know how to walk, hopefully, and that's because even when you're a little toddler, right, you might have got up and started to walk, and maybe you fell out on your face and you started crawling again. But sure enough, you got back up and you tried again, and finally you figured out how to walk, and you've been walking ever since, right? It's kind of like spreading microgreen seeds or gardening or growing anything in life, right? You just got to keep trying and learn to do it better, and then you'll be an expert. And actually today, it looks like I've spread out these microgreen seeds pretty doggone good in my opinion, all right? And that's all the seeds. Now the next step is we need to water, but how are we going to water if we're in the middle of a bedroom with no hose spigots in here? Well, let me show you guys how he figured that out. All right, so now we're in his bathroom, literally. And in his sink here, he basically got an adapter that goes from the sink to like a hose, and then he has this hose here that then he drags over across the way that does not leak into the grow room. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to head over and water the microgreens. All right, so how he waters is he basically just had this hose end that you would use outside. Not recommended to use inside normally. Especially if you have kids, don't let them get this while it's on. Oh my God, they can make such a mess. But this is just from Ace Hardware. And it's cool because it has a mist setting, which I currently have it set on. And he basically uses the mist setting to just gently mist the seeds, right? He's not spraying them down, he's just misting them. And actually, this is a really nice mist. I don't know if I'd ever use this outdoors unless you're like hot and trying to cool down on a hot day. But for inside, it works really well. I think I'm almost wet them too much. And that's all you need, right? Once you mist them down, then you're gonna basically stack them on the rack. So let me show you guys how he stacks those on the rack. Okay, now the most important thing for this step is you want to try to keep your microgreens in darkness. when they're in this germination stage. Now I happen to have them on this rack here with lights on, just so it's easier for the camera to see. But normally these would be actually in his closet, where it's a bit more darker and a little bit warmer. So that's very important also. When germinating shoes, you want them a little bit warmer. And so what he'll do is he'll take this tray, which is a single tray, which has the holes in the bottom, and then he'll put that in a tray that has no holes on the bottom, right? So when he does water, he can water them and it won't leak down and hit the floor. And then he basically lines these up 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 high. And then what he does is he puts a blank on there, so just a one without the holes on the top, to cover and put weight on top, just like so. And then he will take one of these concrete blocks, which are actually fairly heavy, and he'll basically put that right in the middle of the tray. Man, and that really puts some weight on that stuff, which is really good. But here's the thing, man. How strong am I? Well, I could lift that concrete block, but check this out, right? These sprouts could also lift that concrete block, right? What's going to happen is these sprouts, they know what to do. The seeds know what to do, right? They're going to germinate. They're going to send their roots down, and they're like, we need to push up, because right now they think, because there's weight on the top, they think they're underground, and they're trying to push up their way through the soil, and they will be strong. You ever see like how a tree root will basically crack concrete? It's because it grows so slow. Same thing, man. These sprouts will grow, and they'll start pushing up the lid. So even though that weight was right on this tray, I want you guys to look at these sprouts, right? This is after literally 3 days, right? These were seeded Thursday. It is now Monday. These guys have been growing, and now they're basically pushing their way up. They're sending their roots down. And just tomorrow, actually, they'll be basically going to put these underneath the full lights. And then before you know it, literally within a day, these guys will green up. They'll start getting green. They'll start making the photosynthesis happen, and they'll get more energy from the lights. And they're going to grow taller, and literally then they're going to look like this, And so once you put these over, you're going to have to water them. So let me show you guys actually how he waters these just once a day. And very important to get your watering accurate so that you don't have mold issues. If you overwater, you're going to have a tendency to get more mold issues. And if you underwater, of course, your plants aren't going to grow. They're going to die, because everything needs water to live. All right, so now I want to show you guys how he waters. Once again, he has that same hose and sprayer. He has it set to the gentle shower setting on here. And he basically will bottom water. I do not recommend like misting the top, because that could mess up your little microgreens. They could get wet. They could have a tendency to mold more and cause lots of issues. So I really like bottom watering. So all he does is he basically will come in when it's dry, and he'll come up and he'll come up and lift the top up underneath here, and he'll put the hose in, and he'll count on full blast. 1 Colorado, 2 Colorado, 3 Colorado, 4 Colorado, 5 Colorado. Boom. It's done, right? And if you live in California, you got to say 1 California, 2 California, 3 California, right? Just kidding. Well, it should be like a long word like Mississippi, Colorado, California. What's a state that's like really short? 1 Alaska, 2 Alaska, 3 Alaska. I think you might be underwatering if you use that. But seriously, basically the count of 5 or 5 seconds, it has enough water in there, and then he just basically does every one, and then he's done, and that's all he needs to do it, as needed once a day, water it, and then, just make sure that they're all growing well, and he's got it dialed in because he's been doing it for 6 months, and everything looks amazing. I really like the seed density that he's doing. Everything looks nice and tight, and of course, his microgreens taste amazing because I actually had them for dinner 2 nights ago, all right? So let me show you guys actually the difference organic can make, because I believe this is very important. All right, so now I want to show you guys the difference organic can make, right? And, he generally sources organic seeds, but for some reason he got some non-organic seeds. Maybe they misshipped it to him, or maybe he wanted to just run an experiment like he's doing now. So I always encourage you guys to experiment, because you might think, I could save money, man, and buy those non-organic seeds because it's a couple dollars less than the organic ones. And I would strongly encourage you guys to get the organic ones. Why? Well, number one, you're supporting non-chemical agriculture. Chemical agriculture, conventional agriculture, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, and based on research, will destroy the soil microbiome, basically destroy soils, and make them really not fertile anymore. And it's messing up the earth, right? In addition, they may be spraying toxic pesticides, such as Roundup on the fields where the plants are grown, that may get into the plants themselves, which can then harm, the workers on the fields, as well as us, with the food that we're eating that may have some remnants or contaminants in there. So spend the extra money to get the good organic seed. And another reason why is the growth quality can be different. So over here he's growing the China Rose radish seeds. And let me show you guys this. So these microgreens, they look pretty good, right? But let me show you guys this if we lift it up. Let's see how we could do that. If we lift this up carefully, you guys could see the microgreens, right? The stems are like kind of pinkish. All right, cool. Yeah, that's China Rose. They're gonna be a little bit pinkish. The foliage, the leaves look actually really nice. It looks like it's growing pretty good. But now if we go over, and these were started at the same exact time, if we go over to the organic one, right? Same exact variety, China Rose. I want you guys to look at these guys, right? You guys see how deep colored the stems are? They're like a lot more almost reddish pink, like, a lot more rose colored. Let's see, it's hard to grab up on these so you guys can see that. Let's see if I could do that without making them too messed up. But yeah, anyways, the stems, well, here we could lift this up. The stems on these cut ones, they're a lot more deep red or purplish colored, which is more nutritious, but also they look cooler. So it's like people are really attracted to colorful foods. These will probably sell better. These are also greener when I was looking at it. These also grew in more densely, although I do have to say that the leaf shape is a little bit more curled down. They look a little bit wonky, whereas the standard non-organic ones, the leaves actually look really nice. But I would go with the better color, more density, which means heavier weights, which means more product to sell, more profit. But also you're doing the right thing. You're providing a healthier crop to the consumer. In addition, it is my belief, and based on some research I have seen, that organic produced products, for example, they're using organic growing methods to grow these seeds that are now growing these microgreens. The seeds that are being grown under organics are going to be a healthier, maybe weigh a little bit more, have a lot more germ in there, or nutrients to feed the microgreens as they grow. This is very important, as well as a wider spectrum of trace minerals that they may not be paying attention to in conventional farming when they're growing for conventional seed. So I strongly encourage you guys to buy the organic seed. I think the next thing I want to do is, once they're done growing, he then harvests and cuts them and basically puts them into a little box, weighs them out, and he sells them. So let me go ahead and show you guys his packaging, how he's designed it, and how much he sells his product for. So after your microgreens have been on the rack and you've been watering them every day, after about 10 days, they'll be harvestable like this. And basically you'll just take scissors. I found the easiest is scissors instead of taking a knife and cutting these off, right? Very important. Don't wash them or process them in any way after you cut them. Just cut them, put them in a package, because then that means the health department and all the different ag laws will be easier on you because you're not doing any post-harvest processing. Post-harvesting processing can get you in a lot of trouble. So don't do it. So just cut it, put it in a box, and tell people to wash the produce that they want. But you could also tell them that it's all organic and it's a really clean, sterile environment. So basically he cuts it, he puts it in these little containers here. And I think these are from the weekend, so they need to get eaten. And then he has his own little label and logo. Very important, right? On your label, you should always have your phone number, as well as your website, as well as any social media, so people could find you online. You could also, you could take the opportunity on your website and Facebook and Instagram to promote your product, to promote what you do, to sell them, to get them signed up for an email list. So you have them on an email list. You could offer them specials. You could try to get them onto your delivery service. It's very important to connect with your customers through social media, as well as start an email list. And actually that's one tip I have for the farmer, is at farmers markets you should have some kind of email list sign up, to start collecting email addresses so that he could market to them, especially when there's no farmers markets, because literally some of the farmers markets are ending now, and just in a few short weeks, the weather's gonna be crazy. It's gonna get super cold and snowy out here, and I definitely won't be coming in the wintertime. So yeah, that's really cool in his packaging, and he sells these guys, once again, $5 each, which is a good value for microgreens. Microgreens, they cost a lot more than regular food, but also I want you guys to know that microgreens are more nutritious than regular food as well. 40 to 40 times more nutritious microgreens are than normal food. So I'd much rather eat micro broccoli greens instead of big broccoli stalks. In addition, they've done a lot of research with broccoli and how broccoli is an anti-cancer and anti-aging food, as is the radish, and the spicy salad mix that he grows. And of course, you know, who cannot resist the taste of the fresh pea sprouts here that I will go ahead and harvest a little bit right here. I really love eating sugar snap peas from my garden, but I only get those in the springtime. But all year I could be growing microgreens, and you could be growing microgreens indoors. And it has a nice taste of the sugar snap peas. Microgreens are so delicious. I think it's a crime how most chefs in restaurants use it as like a little garnish that usually gets thrown away instead of eating literally microgreen salads. I got a bunch of microgreens when I saw them at the farmer's market, and I basically just ate it with avocado as a salad, and that was my dinner that night. And you know, I'm happy by eating just really simple, real clean, high quality foods. And I think there's a growing movement for people that are going to demand more organic, more local grown, and more high quality foods that heal instead of foods like fast foods that can, in my opinion and based on research, can hurt you. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and then I want to show you guys. Once he harvests the whole tray, he then takes the bottom, all the matting here, and look at these roots on the bottom of these peas. It's crazy. I mean, these guys want to grow. So he takes this out, and then he'll reuse his little 10 by 20 trays. So what he does is he'll take a tray and he'll take this sprayer, and he'll basically just spray this down with his water and hydrogen peroxide solution. So he's just using standard 3% hydrogen peroxide solution. Make sure you buy them in dark colored brown bottles. Don't ever put hydrogen peroxide in a clear bottle. And if it's in a bottle like this, once you dilute it, you shouldn't have it out for any length of time because the light will basically degrade the hydrogen peroxide. And so he dilutes this to 60-40. So 60% water, 40% hydrogen peroxide to basically sterilize and wash all his trays. Oh my God, it's so important to sterilize and wash your trays after every use because you don't want to get any kind of contamination or bacteria that can affect your future crops. So I'm glad he does this step and takes it seriously, all right? And I mean, that's pretty much his grow operation. In a bedroom, he just does it on this little table here in the bedroom, hides everything underneath the table, under the skirt. He has his water coming out of the sink in the hallway. I mean, it's amazing what you can do if you put your mind to it and are ingenuitive. So what I want to do next for you guys, actually, we're going to go ahead and interview the farmer here, the microgreens farmer, and share with you guys how he got into this, why he grows microgreens, and how he loves his life now after coming out of the real estate business. All right, so now I have the pleasure of interviewing Ashton Wayne, kind of like Ashton Kutcher and John Wayne put together in one guy. And he's from Living Well Microgreens. You can see it on his shirt there. And this is his farm, literally in a bedroom of his apartment that he's renting, that literally he started 6 months ago. And he's even expanding now, getting even bigger, getting more racks. And he has a very good business model that, you know, I really want to show and share with you guys on this. So I guess I have lots of questions for him, but we'll get right into it. The first question is, why'd you get into microgreens of all the different things you could be growing?
Well, I grew up farming in East Texas, so I've always kind of loved growing my own thing. I've always felt a connection with plants. I was a successful real estate agent in Northeast Texas. I sold cars and was successful at that for 4 years before I did that, but I just was never happy. I always wanted to be my own boss. When we moved to Colorado, I started a window cleaning company, and I was having a little success with that, but I realized I wasn't happy doing that either because I wasn't really serving the community. So I took the time, I sat down and figured out all the boxes I needed to check with a business. Of course, I need to be able to provide for my family. I wanted to do something good in the community and something where I could be with my family. My wife is a hygienist, so she works a very limited 4-day schedule, home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday when she does work. So I get to spend all of my time now with my children and my wife. And other than that, I'm with these plants, you know, taking care of the community. So, but the way I found microgreens was through your videos.
Oh, cool.
And of course, I found some other people, some other videos, sourced some good information, and I just put it into action. And now here we are.
Wow, I mean, I think that's the thing, the key word of everything he said. There's a lot of cool things he said, but I really want to say he put it into action. And I know a lot of you guys have watched my microgreens videos before, and you haven't taken action, right? If you haven't taken action, want to start your own microgreens business, I mean, number one, just start growing microgreens for you and your family and your friends, and just start giving away and eating them yourself so you guys can feel the benefits. And actually, I think that's where Ashton started. So Ashton, you want to share with people like how microgreens literally has changed your life?
Yeah, so not so long ago, a little over a year ago, I was 230 pounds, and I'm only 5'8", so that didn't look that great on that frame. Yeah, so I started eating microgreens after I started growing them, which I think once you get a little momentum towards eating healthy and being healthy, it snowballs. So I started exercising, getting into yoga, joined a mixed martial arts gym, doing a lot of jiu-jitsu. And of course the microgreens made me feel good and give me energy to do all of those things. And now I weigh 175 pounds and I'm still trimming down. When I first had this hoodie made 6 months ago, I fit pretty good, and now it's got some good slack to it. So yeah, it's improved my life, and I have to share that. Whatever good you have in life, whatever talent you have, the good information you know, you have to. It's your duty. Success is not just your duty, but your duty to spread that with other people too.
Right, and that's exactly why I'm here and why I make my videos, to help inspire you guys to not only grow your own food, the best food on the planet. I don't know that there's anything too much healthier than eating microgreens. Also, fruits and vegetables are a mainstay in my diet, and I believe should be in everybody's diet, because they are also the healthiest foods on the planet. And you want to really minimize, reduce, or eliminate completely any kind of processed foods and junk foods and fast foods and animal products in excess, which I believe are not super healthy. They don't have those valuable antioxidants and anti-disease and anti-aging properties within them, such as the antioxidant content. All right, so Ashton, I want to ask you a few more questions. What has been the biggest challenge growing microgreens, personally?
I would say the biggest challenge is really was right at the very beginning. There's this thing anytime you want to do something, if you care about it, no matter what it is, there's fear and there's anxiety. And there's just resistance that you have to push back on. And to me, that was the hardest part, because when I was telling my teammates at the gym, and I was telling family members, my brothers, I'm going to grow baby vegetables in my spare bedroom and sell them for a profit and improve my community. Maybe they didn't exactly say, "Hey, you're an idiot," but they scoff. People are going to kind of, shit on you a little bit sometimes if they don't get what you're doing. And but on the flip side of that, now some of those same people are asking me how I did it, and they want to know how to get started. So to me, that was the hardest part, was just getting started. But the day that I decided, okay, I'm not just going to grow it for me, I'm going to help people, and I'm going to get it out there, and I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to figure out how to scale it, I'm going to source better information. As soon as I made that decision, it was over after that. It was easy. So just make the decision and just take the first step. And it's all easy after that.
And I think the other thing that's very important that I know Ashton is doing is that he's learning as he grows, right? If he messes up, he remembers what he did. Hey, I'm not doing that again. It cost me this much money, cost me this much time, and then he does it better. And it's always going to be, I'm still learning stuff in my garden. Like, I kill stuff, it's all right. And, but seeds are cheap, right? So, I mean, the investment you make, if you do mess up, it's just super small. That's all right. Throw the stuff out, right? And throw it outside. Maybe you'll have an outside garden for free, because all the seeds are still going to germinate outside. And then start over. It's not a big problem if you mess up, right? So, yeah, growing is probably the easiest part. Actually, let's talk about the business part, which I really like your take on the business angle. And so, some of the videos I made, actually just made a video at a microgreens farm that's really focused on selling to restaurants. Mm-hmm. And their whole claim to fame is restaurants, sell at restaurants. But you're not really focused on restaurants. So why aren't you selling at restaurants, man?
So my first 30 days trying to get my product out there, I didn't make a dime. I was out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday canvassing restaurants, going to the high-end places downtown, the big eateries, the big steakhouses, so on and so forth. And they all liked my product. Some of them didn't want to buy it, but a lot of them did. They didn't want to give me very much money for it, which is one thing. But the biggest thing is that they wanted to use my product as garnish. So they're telling me, I'm taking samples and I'm following up. This is all comes from my sales background. The money's all in the follow-up. Yep. So I'm following up, and they're like, "Hey, we like your product," but people are they're not eating it. They're pushing it to the side. They're putting a couple pea shoots or sunflower shoots on a steak plate or on a dish, and people are shoving it over like it's garnish. And it's the healthiest thing that's ever came into the restaurant, and they're not educating their people how to eat it. And that goes against the mission that I'm on. So we need people getting it in the restaurants. Maybe like EG. Shout out to EG Microgreens over there. Maybe some of these other companies can figure out how to turn the restaurants on to really using it correctly. But me, I just decided I want to go to. In sales, it's more efficient to go to the people who already want your product, opposed to converting people. So I go to martial arts gyms, weightlifting gyms, yoga studios, businesses that are just, kind of up on kind of the new way of doing things, where they're trying to incentivize health in their office because they realize they get more productivity out of their employees when they're happy, healthy, and they feel good, because happiness and healthiness are directly correlated. So that's why I do door-to-door subscription. There's no contracts, every week, every other week, or once a month, and people love it, and it's good for us too. So it's been working good.
Cool, yeah, so I mean that's his main business model, is selling subscriptions. So now he has basically standing orders that he grows to order, so he doesn't have wastage, but also he's getting retail price instead of wholesale price, although each customer retail may not buy as much as a wholesale customer. I did want to comment on the chefs. I think chefs should have little, microgreen salads on the plate with whatever else they're serving, right? And have it as a whole salad so people understand it's not just a garnish, and you have some amazing flavor and taste sensations by eating some of the microgreens. Actually, I had your spicy salad mix the other day, and I'm like, woo, there's some mustard greens or something in there. It lit up my mouth. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. It makes it taste, and it made my avocado taste better with the spiciness in there. And it's like, I don't know, how do we get to change high-end chefs? Well, I think there needs to be some kind of famous chef that really gets turned on to microgreens. He makes a video or puts it in a program on the Food Network or something. He does it, and then everybody else will copy that guy. So you got to find the key players in restaurants here and educate them properly. Meaning now it's one of my goals to make a video on how to make a microgreen salad, because I made videos on blending microgreens and all this stuff and eating them fresh, but hey, microgreen salads, man, like that's really the key. So here's the thing, right? In a microgreens business, because not many people know what a microgreens is. People know what broccoli is, right? You got to do a lot of education, both to restaurants, but also the general consumer. So I think a big part of the microgreens business is using social media, maybe having brochures at your table, having informational signs at your table when you're selling at markets to like let people know, hey, why do they need microgreens? Well, they're 4 to 40 times more nutritious than the big vegetables. Also, here in Colorado, these guys are grown locally, literally harvested yesterday or harvested this morning before you go to market, and so you're not going to get anything fresher. So I mean, all these really key points are super important to let the customers know so that they will be your customers, because otherwise, there's no differentiation between like, oh, I could just buy the big broccoli. It's a lot cheaper to buy that than the microgreens. Why do they need the microgreens? Also, taste it, give samples out if you're able to at markets, right? Once people taste something that's like super good, they're gonna buy it. Why does Costco always have all them people sampling stuff out? Because Costco knows that if they have the samples out, they're gonna sell more of that stuff. And so that's something I see microgreens, farmers sometimes not doing, is everybody that walks up, you should offer them samples of something that tastes really good, and you should grow an extra tray dedicated to samples, because that's how you guys will sell more. So let's talk more about the subscription model that you're doing. So like you sell these guys for $5 each, or you sell, if you give them you sell 5 for $20, right? So they get a deal, and then if they buy 5 for $20, then you will also throw in free delivery.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing. Now I'm doing minimum $20 orders. Everybody gets free delivery. But last week, if you had 20 or more, then I gave you free delivery. So we made some changes that I think a lot of people are enjoying and liking. But yeah, so what most people do, they'll get one of each, because I grow 5 varieties, so they get 1 container of each, which puts them at 5 for 20. They get their free container. They try them out, then they usually get back with me and say, hey, I want 3 salads, a pea and a broccoli every other week. I put them on the schedule. I know exactly what I'm growing. I'm not wasting anything. It's very sustainable. And if I do have anything left over, I have a hungry 4-year-old and a wife who's making breast milk for our 2-month-old, and I like to eat myself. So the subscription model to me is important, because we're getting it to people who want it. And when people believe in a product, especially something that's not out there, people are very accepting of like adult broccoli, big radishes. But when people get on something new and they see the difference, and it's cool to them, they tell their friends. So I'm getting a ton of business just for people. Hey, my sister, I gave her a container of broccoli and she loved it. Or hey, my friends came over and their kids were eating the sunflowers the whole time, but they ate all my sunflowers, and here's their number, and next thing you know, they're getting $40 a week. So I'm getting it right to the people who want it. There's no guesswork, and I don't have to deal with the restaurant thing. So yeah, it's great. It's working fantastic for us, and we have kept our customers happy, and that's what we want.
Cool. So what is your monthly income based on your subscription only, not from like the extra stuff you're selling at farmers markets? Like what's your guaranteed pretty much income because people are on a subscription?
So about $2,200.
Wow, you make $2,200 a month guaranteed, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so
and
that's
really
like
don't make a lot of
that's like $25,000 a year, man, from just like growing this stuff, going out, every week or every other week and delivering stuff.
6 months in.
6 months in.
Yeah.
And so basically one of these full shelves with all the product full will basically in 1 week you'll make about $250 per shelf. Basically how he's doing it here. Other people have different pricing models depending on where you live, and there's some good competition in this area. And actually, let's talk about competition, man. Like, why do you welcome more microgreens farmers at the farmers market you sell at?
Yeah, so not all the microgreen farmers that I've met feel this way, but it's just my understanding in business that, one, I can't get to everybody and teach them what microgreens are. I can't get to everyone and put microgreens in their hand and see how much they like it and explain my business model. So when there's competition out there, not only do we live in a capitalistic society, no matter how you feel about it, but these people are out creating more customers. If I do something they don't like, or if they find a microgreen that I don't carry that they like, well, they'll go to the next guy, but they're still consuming the product, they're still bettering their lives, and they have options. Options are good. I don't want to be the only microgreen company in town and feel like I'm, stepping on the throat of the business, so to speak, for my geographical location. And some growers, I do 5 varieties, some of them do 20 varieties. To me, that's mind-boggling. I don't want to have to try to explain 20 varieties to people, but some people are into that. They want to grow it because they love that. They might really have a passion for all 20 varieties. Some of them grow it live instead of harvested. So we're all doing something different, and that's okay. So talk to your fellow farmer, ask for help, reach out, send DMs, make phone calls, shake hands, barter. Build a relationship, because we're all on the same mission. If you're doing this to help people, then there should be no conflict. There should be no issues with us. So live well and help your fellow farmer, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with that model. And here's the thing, right? The more microgreens farmers, the more choices customers have, the more customers will want and demand the product. Because they'll see all these microgreens farmers and the guy at the farmer's market, they never see microgreens, what's up with all these microgreens farmers? Maybe I got to get that stuff, right? And the other thing is this, right? You want to do it better than your competitors so that they'll come to you, right? Hand out samples. Your competitors are not handing out samples. They're going to buy to you because, those guys are generous over there. Add some trace minerals into the water. You're watering your microgreens. Your microgreens will taste better than the competitor that's not adding the trace minerals, like Ocean Solution, Ocean Solids. A product called Gropal is the one I would recommend. That if you didn't do that, and it's just like these small changes, you could grow. At the farmer's market you were at, actually, I went to the other 3 growers, and one grower just had really crappy looking stuff. The other grower was looking pretty decent, but her sunflower greens really didn't look that good. But the other thing that I liked about her is that, she was selling them live, which is really cool. I like live product better than cut product myself.
Sure.
Personally. Maybe you actually get less because it's still live and it's not condensed in a little package. But she had 13 varieties, which is really cool. So some people might want varieties, but I know you cut it down to 5. And honestly, some of the 5 you're growing are some of the easiest ones to grow too. So it makes your job easier when you're trying to grow 50 varieties or 13. Some of them are not going to grow as fast. You may have a 15-day grow on some of them. And I know your grow is pretty much consistent, so you can basically do everything at once and it's not creating extra work for you. And people are fine with that. As long as you're growing a staple, broccoli, broccoli's a staple. And the other ones are bone radishes are so easy. All these ones you're doing are so easy, so it's really cool. You basically picked up on growing the best one. So let's get into some microgreens growing tips for some people that want to grow. So what are some of the school of hard knocks things you've learned by growing microgreens that you were doing wrong that you're like, man, I should have did it different from the get-go?
Well, one, I tried a lot of different soils. I was trying different potting mixes. This is when I was just growing for myself and the family. It took a long time to figure out how to be consistent. So I tried a lot of different soils. I would say sourcing your information properly will get you around a lot of those issues. So had I maybe done a little more research on soil, I probably would have spent a lot less time. So I would get something organic listed. You want something that's clean, something that's sterile, that you're not going to have any issues with. You also need something that you can get in your area consistently at the amount that you need it, and also be able to scale up, if you're doing this for a business. So that's something you have to think about too. So that's some issues I had in the beginning. Now everything else, I feel like I sourced my information really well. Talking to customers though was part of it. I didn't really consider until I stepped my first day on my first farmer's market how much education, which you actually just kind of mentioned, how much education it takes for some of these people. People people say, I don't want any catnip, or I don't want any clover. Or I had a lady one time at a farmer's market ask me, is that the stuff that used to be on the chia pets I used to buy?
Actually, I got chia from another microgreens farmer the other day.
Nice.
And I ate it.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's good stuff.
So there's a lot of education. So that was something I wasn't really prepared for. So I had to kind of quickly get together, like, I don't want to call it a sales pitch, but yeah, like what's the densest way for me to get across the appropriate, necessary information, so these people know what they're dealing with. Because some people, I've had people come up to me also and say, well, I'm not going to do anything organic because I grew up without organic, and it's simply because they don't even know what organic means. It's just a moment of ignorance. They're just not sure what it means. So you have to educate them. Once you tell them, people are good about it. So source your information. At first, I was not cataloging and recording everything. If you don't do that and you make a mistake, it's going to be so hard to figure out what you did wrong. So record everything. Growing is a scientific process. If you're doing it for a business, you can't just come at it all willy-nilly, shooting from the hip. So you need to record it. You need to have a process. Your systems are what make you efficient, and efficiency allows you to do more. And the more that you can do, the more people you can help, the more money you make, the better you'll feel about your business. Everything you're looking for out of this business, you'll get more of it if you're efficient. So focus on efficiency, record everything, talk to your fellow farmers, source good information, and if you mess up, don't do it again.
Wow. Excellent information. The other thing I would say is set processes. You kind of talked about this a little bit. I would say make a process for doing things and put it in a book. So if you don't show up one day, your wife, your girlfriend, your friend could come over and basically follow the instructions in the book so that they could fill in for you. Or even more importantly, one day you could be on a 4-hour work week, which means you could have employees doing the work for you, and because you've written it down so specifically, have trained them so well, they're going to do it just exactly as you would do, and have perfect results, so that now you can spend even more time with your family. So yeah, actually I want to talk about that because you're like a pretty good established like real estate person making some good money, but now you're making 25 grand a year, which is still good. Your wife works, of course. But you have a lot more free time, so you want to talk about why you'd rather have more time with your family than more money or income at this point?
Yeah, so I think myself, like a lot of people, we kind of grow up, and once you get out of school, whether it's just high school or college, you feel a lot of pressure, especially if you get married, like I did. You feel pressure to make money, to have a job where people look up to you and think, oh, he's actually in a profession. So like I said, I sold cars for 4 years, and the last 2 years of that, I absolutely hated it. I was disgusted with it, and some months I'd go home with a $12,000 paycheck
in a month
and not be happy at all. And part of that time I was even traveling. I got to go to Florida a lot, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I went to a lot of different states and made good money, but I was just not happy. So in real estate, I was home, but I wasn't home. So you have to spend so many hours to be successful at doing that. And I was working for the top team in East and Northeast Texas. They hired me as a brand new real estate agent with no experience. I just kind of lucked up on that. And I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I realized that time is really my most precious commodity and not money. I've been thinking wrong the whole time. And I realized that why I felt so bad showing houses all day, even writing a contract on an expensive home, why I felt so bad is because my wife and at the time we just had one young child. We're at home without me, and I don't know what's going on. Are they having a good time? Are they having a bad time? Or is there an emergency at the house? I love my family more than anything, so I give all of my love, most of my time, most of my energy to my wife and my 2 children, and this business that I have created allows me to put everything that's left into the business, which checks the other boxes in life that I need, like the financial part of it. I want to feel successful and accomplished, but I also feel a very deep need to be of use to my community. And this business helps me connect with people also, which is, we're all dying to connect. Like, it's just part of the human condition. So, just taking control, whether it had been this or something else, just owning my own business and being able to spend time with my family more has just increased my life's quality by tenfold. And even if I didn't grow anymore, which we're on track to do, we're actually on track to do 100,000 within about 18 months.
Wow.
But even if I didn't grow anymore, if I stayed where I was at, everyone in my house is so happy. We love each other. We see each other all the time. I would take it and not complain a bit.
Wow, and I think that's one of the challenges with America today. Everybody's so focused on the almighty dollar, and people screw each other for money, and grow some microgreens, and feel free to give some out sometimes to people that can't afford that really want it. Maybe you're at the end of the market and you're going to take home all this stuff. give it to some people that will appreciate. Maybe even next time they'll turn into customers too. Wow. So this has been really educational and valuable. And Ashton, I know you're a wealth of knowledge, even though you've only been doing this for 6 months. You now are starting a podcast to help teach other farmers about microgreens, and you're going to maybe have some education material. So you want to talk about that real quick?
Sure. Yeah. So some of the fellow growers or people that are interested in growing might recognize this name, Donnie Greens, my good friend from Long Island. He has Finest Foods out there in Long Island, New York. He's bringing in well over $8,000 a month. He has a subscription service. He's actually one of the reasons why I kind of switched my model over from doing every week, because he basically just told me this is going to be too much for you to do weekly orders, and sure enough, here I am. So we've started a podcast, the Microgreens Business and Beyond podcast with Donnie Greens and Ashton Wayne. Our sole focus is to help people know how to grow, know how to handle the business aspect of it, whether it's billing, customers, systems, just efficiency, but also connecting other growers. Because there's a lot of people out there doing good things, but it's such a new thing and people are so hesitant and timid for good reason. We want to promote connection. There's Facebook groups out there, but even then I see animosity sometimes. If somebody leave a question and another girl will be like, well, this question's been asked 100 times, and that's not what we need. We need to help each other. We're not competitors, we're really collaborators. So yeah, we're doing the Microgreens podcast. We just recorded the second episode Saturday right after I ran into you. We have the third one coming up here in a few days. Once we get about 10 or so, we'll start releasing them. So we'll release them on YouTube, all the audio platforms. And I am working on a microgreen growing and business book as well, which I might release in 2 volumes or just all together. It's going to be an ebook, extremely extensive on the growing part. I've reached out to other growers, and I'm trying to make sure that, if someone's got better information than me, I'm leaving my ego out of it. If someone has better information than me, let me try what you're doing, and if that's better, then I'll include that in my book, and I'll give you credit, for the source. And this is just to help, because more people need to do the business, and people don't do things out of fear. So if I can give someone some material on how to grow, how to handle objections with your customers, how to handle problems, how to set up the billing the most efficient way, how to get people over to your booth at farmers markets, and so on and so forth, that's going to take away a lot of the fear and I hope get more people started, so we have more growers, more healthy people, a healthier country, a healthier world. I'm talking to a teacher out here at the biggest middle school we have, and she's trying to get basically the District 20 to let me come out there to fund it, to set up a small grow for the kids. That way the 8th grade kids every year have their own grow. I'll come out every year, teach them how to take care of it, how to plant, how to water, and plus they're going to get to eat all the great food. So that's all it is. The podcast and the book is all about spreading the good word, spreading the knowledge, and just helping people.
Wow. That's the reason why I make my videos, for free for you guys. I made other videos at other microgreens growers, and I just don't go to one guy because I like this one guy. Everybody has their little niche, and I like certain aspects of every different microgreens grower I visit, and I learn so many things seeing all of them. And then when I finally will grow microgreens, not for business one day, but for personal use, I can incorporate the different things and elements from every grower that I've seen. And of course, when you do watch my other microgreens videos, you want to look for the commonalities between all of them. And I think one of them is actually the seed source. Although they may use different growing, materials to grow in. So Ashton, we're getting to the end of this episode. If someone wants to learn more about the Living Well microgreens, how could they learn more about you, even get on your subscription service or connect with you?
Yeah, so as far as getting the microgreens, if you're in Colorado Springs, Colorado, or Monument, Colorado, we deliver every Sunday. You can do every month, which is going to be the first Sunday of the month, every other week, or every week. Minimum $20, free delivery for everybody. So yeah, you can DM me on Facebook, Living Well Microgreens, Facebook or Instagram, Living Well Microgreens. lwmicrogreens.com is my website. You can also ask questions, put in orders through there as well. And just follow our content and be on the lookout. We have a lot of collaborations going on with other people, which is really crazy, because I was telling my wife 12 days ago that I'm going to film a video with you one day. I'm going to get you on. But in my mind, I was thinking we're going to be in a big place, much more going on, much more customers, and I just happen to run into you. So it just kind of happened. But just stay tuned if you're a grower, if you're interested in growing for yourself or for business. Keep watching John's content. This guy is like the LeBron James of what we're doing. You should have seen the energy at the farmer's market go from a 2 to like a 27 in 0.2 seconds when this guy started walking around the farmer's market.
So that's all the time I got for this episode because I really got to get out of here and go to the airport and catch my flight back to Vegas. If you guys enjoyed the episode here at Living Well Microgreens with Ashton, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else so they can learn how to grow microgreens, how they can even start their own business, and even after 6 months make good money, and you're even on track to make a lot more in just another 18 months, over $100,000 from a bedroom. So completely amazing. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episodes. I come out every 3 to 4 days. You never know where I'll show up or you'll be learning on my channel. Make sure to click the little bell so you get notified as my new episodes come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I have over 1,400 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teaching you guys all the different ways you guys can grow your own food. And I have plenty of videos on microgreens so you guys could learn up. So with that, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep on growing.